Welcome in, guys. My name is Drew. Some of y'all might recognize me from 21 the podcast. We have just touched down in New York City. And before I get into too much, let me give you a quick weather report. Cold. And it's actually been a very eventful arrival. So before we get into the main purpose of what we're here in New York to do, I want to talk a little bit about how it is actually flying into New York right now. As soon as we get off the plane, LaGuardia is completely empty. Like, even though we get there kind of late, like, this has to be some of the slowest I've ever seen any airport. And then whenever we come down the actual escalators, there's military personnel there, and a big group of people gathered, asking if you filled out a form. Have you filled out a form? We didn't really know what it was when we were coming down into it, but we figured it was something to do with COVID. And sure enough, as soon as we got down there, they're asking for a screenshot of your green check mark. As you can see here, it just asks a few basic questions: your name, where you're traveling from, birthday, stuff like that. Ask you for your phone number, email, different ways that they can keep up with you, basically. It wasn't too big of a hassle, but one thing that they did tell us was that if you fail to fill this out, it carries a fine of anywhere from $500 to $10,000 for not filling out this contact tracing form. I'm not sure who's actually enforcing this. Like, if you get pulled over, do you have to show them a screenshot of this thing or what? We haven't ran into any of that just yet. But I mean, it's a lot easier than taking the new anal swabs. So that's great. So what we're here to do this weekend, as I'm sure you've heard, Wall Street has been going nuts. It's all behind a Reddit forum called Wall Street Bets. Before any of this really happened, I wasn't too frequent to Reddit, so I don't know all of the lingo on that just yet. But basically what these guys have done, it's a group that started trading stocks together. They got to a point in which they had enough resources between the group that they were actually able to make some really big moves. I'm sure you guys have heard about GameStop, Nokia, AMC. They basically pump these stocks up in order to screw over the major hedge funds that are buying shorts on all of these companies, in which, you know, the more shorts a company has and, you know, you're betting against that stock, they're hoping for it to go down. It ultimately can crush companies. Now, companies like AMC and companies like GameStop have definitely been struggling through the pandemic. Of course, AMC had to shut down so many theaters. GameStop, I don't really completely understand. I think it's the group of people, and maybe it's just a more nostalgic thing for them. Maybe that they chose GameStop. Not exactly sure yet. But anyways, all this is to say that once the people of Wall Street Bets, which are just, you know, normal everyday people, once they started actually seeing results in the market, like GameStop went up more than 400%, AMC's through the roof, even Nokia went on a little bit of a run. Once Wall Street realized what was going on, these investment firms and hedge funds wanted to put a stop to it. So Robinhood actually unsupported AMC and Nokia and GameStop to where you couldn't even buy any more of these options, in which people were making tons of money on. Webull followed suit, and it became very apparent to people that this isn't a free market. This isn't a fair market. Very quickly, as yesterday told on Twitter, like, you couldn't go down your Twitter feed without seeing something about GameStop or hold the line, unless it was the silhouette challenge, of course, which I don't mind. Now, you may ask yourself, why did we get in after hours on a Friday night? Because on Sunday, there's actually an event called Reoccupy Wall Street. Now, the original Occupy Wall Street happened in 2011, and it stemmed from wealth inequality, political corruption, and corporate influence on the market. It sounds a lot like what's going on today. So because we're in New York, and because Governor Cuomo has this place so shut down, and the streets are empty. It's a Friday night in downtown New York City, and there's nobody on the streets. It's crazy. So there's no telling what the numbers are going to be for an event like this due to all the other circumstances. But we are here to find out, and tomorrow we will be hitting the streets early, trying to talk to some people about, how they feel about the situation, how it's going to affect things. We're going to actually go down to Wall Street. Even though it's a weekend, hopefully find some investors or traders that are willing to talk to us and tell us a little bit about, maybe get some, I guess you can't say inside information. That's probably the wrong thing to say, but that's what we want, is inside information. We'll be covering that event on Sunday, the Reoccupy Wall Street event on Sunday, and tomorrow we'll be going down to Wall Street and just around the city. We're going to talk to people about how they feel about the current situations and the outcomes. We're going to see if they truly believe that we're even in a fair market anymore, and ways in which we can still try to fight back and have a fair and free market that is for the people. So if you want to keep up with everything we're doing here in New York City, you can go to 21 The Channel on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're going to be uploading content there throughout the weekend, as well as, and I never thought I would say this for myself, as well as on Band.video. So make sure y'all go check that out. Make sure y'all share these links and hold the line.
The technocrats are controlling the food supply. Secure your own safe source of food supply sale. It's the new prices in 2021, but it's the lowest price for high quality food you're going to find at InfoWarsStore.com. The subsection is preparewithalex.com. And as all these globalists do this, and as they hoard the food and as they prepare, you need to understand that you need 25-year food supply. The last 25 years, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year supplies, and it's the highest quality you're going to find. And it's just good to have that checkbox taken care of, and you're getting good food at a very good price, and that a small percentage of it, because there's not much profit in this, goes to us to fund our operation. So preparewithalex.com or InfoWarsStore.com. You can find the preparedness section there, water filtration, air filtration. It's all there. The technocrats are getting ready to bring in all the forced GMO and more. It's time to start getting prepared, and it starts with self-defense. It starts with being prepared. It starts with storable food. It starts with digging in with a long globalist fight. You'll win in the end.